Aoife, we're going to talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
A game that you've seen a little bit more of at E3.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, over the weekend, actually, they uploaded some gameplay of an area called Siberian Wilderness, like 15 minutes of it. Is that the bit that you saw?
The demo was actually split into two parts. So the first bit did take place in Siberia, and then for the second part, they switched it over to Syria. So the Siberia section was all about, you know, when you've seen it, it's all about crafting and survival and stuff. And the second section was all about actual raiding of tombs. Can you believe it?
Ah, cool. That was going to be my first big question, I guess, because I think this is something they mentioned during the Square Enix press conference, that they were going to put the tombs back into Tomb Raider.
I know, right? It's like, you would have thought that was a no-brainer to begin with, but yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the Tomb Raider reboot, but like looking back on it now, it was very combat heavy, right? Like
yeah. There was some tomb elements to it, but that was all optional stuff and was not really the focus of the game. So this is part of the main kind of storyline.
It's like right in there. You have to raid some tombs, which is it's nice. Like even watching that part of the demo, it kind of took me back to the original Tomb Raider, like 1 and 2 days, where it was just Lara alone in like some subterranean dank cave, like looking for artifacts and stuff. It's exactly that, only maybe without the gymnastics so much.
Fair enough. Did you see much in the way of kind of environmental puzzles, the kind of stuff you'd expect from those parts of a Tomb Raider game? Yeah,
so there was, it was more like getting to the actual tomb. Like they kind of stopped the demo just as soon as you're like in these ruins. You start off on the outside and you're kind of racing this other organization that wants to get what Lara has, because that's always the way.
Are they called Trinity?
Trinity,
is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
So apparently they covered up what happened in the reboot.
Yes.
I was going to call it the original game, but that's not quite.
It's a bit not. It's the second set of I don't know. It's all very confusing.
And so they're into mysterious artifacts too, but they tend to cover that up and seem a bit shady and have guns.
That's
and
right.
People that work for them.
Oh yeah. So she's kind of like racing this organization to get into this tomb, but once she gets inside the building, it's cool because the more you look at like books and old sort of decipherings and sort of things like that, the more she'll be able to read in the surroundings.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
it rewards exploration.
Yeah, absolutely. So like she looks at these this sort of like old dialect, I think it was, and then she's able to figure out, oh, this is a door. And then she can figure out the path onwards, which I think is quite cool because it's like a throwback, because she was a scholar, right? She's not just raiding tombs for the hell of it. Like it's actual, interest in why you're raiding tombs. But so she get like, by the time you get inside, that's where the demo ends. But she has to, like, you see in the center of this vast room there's this shining tower that she somehow has to climb to the top of. So I guess like her acrobatics and stuff might come into play somewhere. But the first Tomb Raider game was just her screaming and falling down a lot, right? So maybe she's a little bit more lithe now, but who knows?
There did seem to be a little bit of that, more so in the kind of the first trailer they showed off at the Microsoft press conference.
Yeah.
When you're kind of climbing up the ice.
No. And that's like, because
there's plenty of falling down things and getting hurt.
Yeah,
still.
she loves falling and screaming. Like that, I think that was the thing, like when I was watching the demos, I was just like, I don't think me and Lara would be friends, because she doesn't seem like she'd be a lot of crack. Like she's just dead serious all the time. I want her to like crack a joke or something. But no. So yeah, the thing you saw at the Microsoft conference with the ice and the sliding down, the first part of the demo takes place directly after that. So you see her,
sure.
She's paired up with this guy Jonah, and so there's kind of like a landslide, right, or an avalanche, and she gets separated from him. And she loses a lot of her gear in the process. So like the demo picks up and she's like getting really cold because night's falling. So you have to build a fire. And so she's like wandering around, and she breaks some branches off of some trees, and she finds like a dead deer, which the meat's been stripped clean, but she gets some of the hide off of that. And with those things, she's able to craft shelter, but also reinforce her bow. So there's a lot of that in this game. Like there's common or sort of exotic resources that you can use to make things as you go.
I was reading in an interview somewhere that there's actually a kind of there's a night and day cycle in the game, and certain things that you're after. I think this is more about the hunting and certain like furs that you want to get. You'll need to kind of use that cycle to go after certain animals that only appear at night. So like wolves might be more common during nighttime or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, I guess visibility would be a factor as well, because there are certain, like, part of that demo takes you to like an enemy hub as well, where there are, like, you assume there's loads of patrols. There's loads of, like, they said side quests and stuff you can do in those places as well. Like there's a lot of sort of optional challenges and things that you can sort of find. The thing with the whole crafting and the resource thing, so it's tapping into her whole, you know, she's a survivor, all this sort of stuff, but like she can make arrows and things on the go. And one of the big focus points of the first demo is that she's got to fight like a really big ass grizzly bear, and like, so she finds these mushrooms in a stump, and she can craft poison arrows, which when she fires them, it just like explodes in a cloud of green gas, and the bear's like just, you know, dazed or whatever. But
it sounds like The Witcher.
It is a little, yeah, it did feel a little bit Witcher like. It was definitely didn't feel like the original game so much, because in addition to all the crafting and stuff, there's also a little bit more of a stealth element, that she can like climb trees and hide from guards. She can avoid combat. She doesn't have to take them on.
Yeah, I saw that in the demo or the gameplay they released. Actually, I remember in the first game you could kind of stay out of sight and try and take out enemies with a degree of stealth, but usually once you've taken out that first enemy, everyone is alerted to what's going on, and
they know exactly where you are as well. And
it seems like they're moving a little bit away from that, allowing you to kind of try and remain undetected.
It definitely feels that way as well, which I think works better, right? Because she's one woman, she's not an army, and like, it's just, I don't know, I think I prefer that approach a bit more.
So yeah, it seems like they've taken on some of the criticism of the first game, and
yeah, I think they definitely,
the right kind of stuff they've been listening to.
Yeah, that was the entire focus of the demo, was them saying, look, we're not,
look at all these things we learned.
look, I mean, we were listening to you. I mean, it just, like I said, it just seems weird now that they didn't do this in the first place, but hey, I'm alright with it. It looks fun, so
cool. And yeah, the demo, do you know what they were playing on whilst they were showing it to you? Because presumably, I mean, it's only coming out on the Xbox One and 360 to start with. They've got that whole timed exclusivity thing going.
Well, it was they were using an Xbox One controller and everything.
But could have been a PC build.
Yeah, you can never tell with that. But
okay, fair enough. All right, cool. Well, yeah, I guess we're going to start seeing more of this as it's out early November. So yeah, we'll be back with more Rise of the Tomb Raider as we get more hands-on with it, or actual hands-on with it, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Thank you, Ethan.
Bye.
You know, we thought it was kind of interesting because we feel like this narrative was co-inspired or co-developed by the community, because a lot of people lost in Enemy Unknown, their first playthroughs, and we actually have a lot of data on it. It's hard to win that game. That game's about challenge and consequences, and a lot of people lost. So we thought it was kind of clever and cool to be like, okay, what would have happened if XCOM didn't actually make it past conventional